like the video. Share the video with those you want to see on the other side of this simulation. If you ride with the channel, subscribe to the channel. Comment, because I love to hear what you have to say. Ladies, I'm talking to you ladies. Now let's watch these creepy clips.
I don't really say this eloquently. If a man and wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same statistical chance as children raised by just their father.
Ooh, you should not have said that to these women who don't like watching women on the conspiracy video. But why should you have not said that?
I don't need a man.
So if we want to keep children, adults, out of prison, mother, father, or just father? Well, we don't want to hear just father, so let's try to keep the families intact.
78% of black husbands were in their homes married to the mother of their children when they started the social engineering of the welfare state.
Editing Adonis here. Let's just slow our roll for a second. Let me read this to you. The foundation for the American welfare state, including social engineering initiatives, was laid during the 1930s, particularly the New Deal legislation of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, culminating in the Social Security Act of 1935. Am I saying in 5 more years it will be 100 years that they have been planning this? No, I'm not saying that, but I am saying the Great Depression started in 1929.
Financial markets today roiled by Donald Trump and the chaos he has unleashed on the American economy. The Dow is down more than 2%, around 900 points today, after Trump, in an interview on Fox News, refused to rule out a recession. All major stock indices are now below the levels they were when Donald Trump was inaugurated.
Fast forward 50 years, 78% of black children are being raised in single-headed households. This is destruction personified.
What in the GTA 5 is going on here? Splashdown, huh? Well, this looks real, I must say. Who filmed these perfect angles? Stanley Kubrick's Ghost? Then it's just bobbing about there, making no impact on the perfect-looking water. But some cute dolphins came to say hi, and that's all that matters. Nice editing touch, the masses love cutesy. Back to reality, though. And besides these spacesuits from Temu, zip-up leather boots, which are worn on the bottoms, by the way, what ground made those marks? And the obvious AI disaster that has half the world convinced it was real. If only I had some evidence that they just dropped something out of a plane and faked the rest. Oh wait, I do. See how it gets there and circles and waits for NASA to arrive, circles and waits. Oh look, here they come. Wow, it's not 1969 anymore, folks. The only question I have is why? What's the long game here?
The long game, in my opinion, would be when the Antichrist comes, if everyone is stupid because we broke up the family starting in 1930 all the way up until today where we are now, everybody's dumb. His friends will be like, no, that is God, because he said he was. And you know, look, he made stuff come out of the ground with his earthquake machine, but no one will know it's that.
In 1898, Nikola Tesla claimed to have invented a machine that could create earthquakes, known as the earthquake machine. This small device was said to have the power to shake buildings and even entire cities.
This is a truck capable of creating earthquakes. It extends a pillar from underneath to continuously vibrate the ground, generating earthquakes around magnitude 3, causing ripples in a water basin. This is a remarkable man-made earthquake truck. What is its purpose? It can help locate oil buried thousands of meters underground without digging up the surface. This truck uses a massive iron hammer weighing several tons to strike the ground continuously. By adjusting the frequency and force of the vibrations based on the explored depth, the generated seismic waves penetrate through layers of soil and rock, reaching depths of several thousand to tens of thousands of meters. These seismic waves reflect and are collected by sensors next to the truck. After computer analysis, detailed data is produced, allowing geologists to determine whether oil exists in the area and its exact location and depth.
Look, he's speaking all of these languages.
This AI tool is a game changer. You can speak any language now at a click of a button. Watch this. Hablo inglés, pero me traducen al español. Me parezco a Messi? Dime che piensas. Posso parlare italiano. Guarda come le mie labbra si muovono a ciò che dico. Posso enviar vídeo a Cristiano Ronaldo. Aprendi a falar português fluentemente. So in 2019, I was working on a video with David Beckham, and we were already using this technology to make him speak 9 different languages.
It's the deadliest disease there's ever been.
Se dice que ha matado más de la mitad de la
You can watch the whole video on YouTube. It's called Malaria Must Die. So take a screenshot of this or just add a bookmark to this video. So here's what I want you to try. Film a video of yourself and show it to a friend of yours and film their reaction. This tool is called HeyGen AI.
With the little AI thing that can speak all the languages, like Star Trek when they used to Captain Enterprise. They were showing us in the movies. Maybe not. That's probably not what it was. But, you know, let's see what else he got to say.
Nowhere in our Bible does it say that the Messiah would be a god or godlike. The very idea that God would take on human form is repulsive to Jews because it contradicts our concept of God as being above and beyond the limitations of the human body and situation. Jews believe that God alone is to be worshipped, not a being who is his creation, be he an angel, saint, or even the Messiah himself. Christians teach the philosophy of turning the other cheek and loving your enemy. Do you know of any Christian nations that live by this impractical ethic?
I thought America was a Christian nation.
Judaism believes that God is eternal, above and beyond time. God cannot be born. He cannot die. He cannot suffer. He cannot become flesh.
Muslims believe that too. It's strange how everybody doesn't like Muslims. But they believe what the Jews believe. Oh, it's got to be the wives. Right, I get it now. Because if you can have 4 wives, you're mentoring these 4 women. And these 4 women are then mentoring your many sons like Abraham had. Didn't Abraham have 2 wives? Interesting.
Nor can he be divided into sections, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. These are pagan notions. Certainly no God or Son of God could have called out on the cross, as Jesus is supposed to have said, my God, why have you abandoned me?" If he was God's son, he would at least have said, "My Father."
I know some of you are still not convinced. What does that have to do with you showing all these women dancing, being essentially lonely, jiggly hoes? She don't got no man, but she don't give no damns. And breaking up the family. I don't get it yet. Well, that's why we're here to decode. What do you have to say, ma'am?
Has anybody heard about the story of the 25-year-old middle school teacher by the name of Destiny Hillsman, who has been charged with sexual assault of a 13 and a 14-year-old?
We have not heard that. Tell us about Destiny. What type of gross man is Destiny? He's a trisexual. He'll try anything. Tell us about Destiny and the evils that he did.
A 13 and a 14-year-old, not one, but 2 children. And this the kicker. You heard me say her name was Destiny Hillsman, right? Yeah, she has been charged with sexual assault of a 13 and a 14-year-old girl.
The plot thickens. Why would they need to break up the family? Who came from the broken home? Destiny or the 13 and 14-year-old girls? We don't know.
She said, it's not allegedly, she said when she was investigated and talked to about the situation that she actually gave the 13-year-old girl a ring so they would have matching rings, professed her love to the 13-year-old girl, and said they were soulmates. Yeah. The 14-year-old girl, she sent her a text actually saying that she liked the way she kissed her. She had never been kissed like that before, and nothing happened to her very often. If anybody saw that snippet of Pastor Mike's service on Sunday when he was calling the name of Jesus and praying for everybody, praying for the world, praying for the children, praying for the prisons, praying for your finances, praying for everybody, he hollered Jesus' name so much that he about to pass out. This was why. Let me tell you something. Every morning I take my kids to school, and I'm serious about this. We pray. Every morning I pray a covering over my kids so they will be safe. Because who would have thought that you would send your children to a middle school, a 13 and a 14-year-old teenager, and you would have to, of all things, you have to worry about a female sexually assaulting these kids.
The powers that be allegedly thought that in the 1930s when they came up with the plan. Maybe, or maybe they didn't. Tell us some more, because people who come to my videos, watch my videos all the time, have said to me, I came here for conspiracies. I don't want to see women. Is this why you don't want to see women? Because you're a woman like this? Not this good woman this God-fearing woman on the screen, you're a woman like Destiny who wants to diddle people's daughters? Is that what's going on? Hey man, whatever floats your boat. Just stay away from me and my kids. It's all I'm trying to tell you, player. Stay away from my kids.
What is the world coming to? I don't know what kind of demons this lady is dealing with, but something is definitely wrong.
Why you always putting God in everything and talking religion? Why does this person think that it's a demon playing around with Destiny that's playing around with this 13 and 14-year-old?
I had to keep on looking at that story because I couldn't believe it. But that goes to show you our kids are never safe. I never can understand why people be so quick to leave their kids and drop them off and stuff. I ain't dropping my kids out nowhere. You hear me?
Nowhere with nobody. Nowhere with nobody, Skip. Skip! Not me, Skip. No, sir.
Most of the time, if my husband ain't with them, I ain't with them.
That's why. I get it. You don't like, she's married. Okay, now I get it. Now, if she wasn't married, she would probably be a little more understanding of Destiny. But because she's married, she's like, no, Destiny, you got to go to prison for a long time.
To shop with me or something like that, just long story short, I don't trust people with my kids. I promise you that. This is an evil world. Before a 25-year-old female middle school teacher to assault a 13-year-old girl and a 14-year-old girl, and you got the audacity to get this girl a ring, so y'all have matching rings and telling this girl you in love with her.
But she didn't assault her because it was nice and gentle and sweet. It's only assault when it's a man, right? Women who say you don't like seeing women when you come here? Okay.
Y'all need to go pull it up. That article about Destiny Hillman who assaulted the 13 and the 14-year-old teenagers.
Give me a second to Google Destiny Hillman.
In the last hour, we learned a teacher accused of having an inappropriate relationship with two students was relieved of duty.
Holland Middle School teacher Destiny Hillman was charged in the fall, but was indicted by a grand jury. She's alleged to have had relationships with a 13 and 14-year-old girl.
ABC 13's Micah Hatfield joins us live with the details you'll only see here on 13. Micah?
Hey, good evening, guys. Charging documents show text messages between the teacher and the students. In one of the conversations between a teacher and one of those female students, they told one another, "I love you," the teacher using the word forever.
When we get to middle school age, because you don't really know if what they're doing is appropriate, but you are hoping that the teacher is taking responsibility to maintain those boundaries.
Two students, 13 and 14, tell HISD police they had a relationship with Holland Middle School teacher Destiny Hillman last year. The 25-year-old is charged with a count of indecency with a child and improper relationship with a student, stemming from...
Didn't I tell you, everybody likes young girls? Gross, yuck. Young like 18, 19. But have you noticed that they're not showing the woman? I was like, please don't let the woman be attractive. Why don't let the woman be attractive? Because that's a part of why I be showing you all these women when I be doing my videos. Because you never know which one of these TikTok weirdos is an actual predatory weirdo. You don't know. And I'm talking to us guys. We looking at these girls like, yep, that's the conspiracy. She's a tarot card girl. She do astrology.
And do not let your people practice fortune telling, or use sorcery, or interpret omens, or engage in witchcraft, or cast spells, or function as mediums, or psychics, or call forth the spirit of the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord.
Yep, she does witchcraft. Grew up watching Disney Channel, The Witches of Waverly Place, and now she thinks she's a witch. I can't trust this girl.
From those allegations, both female students saying they shared a kiss with the teacher, one claiming she touched her breast, according to charging documents.
It's even more so that she's going to be a trusted adult to help them understand their bodies and the changes that they're going through, because she went through them. She went through them, the exact changes that they're going through. And so she even has more access.
These were two separate relationships. Charging documents detail the teacher taking one of them to the mall and to the movies, even buying her a ring so they can have matching ones. Both girls say they went to the Holland Middle School teacher's home.
The grooming process is just that. It's a process. It's not an event. So it can begin far before.
Now see how they took the word groom? Because that's what your fiance is. There's the bride and there's the groom. Because he turns you into a good woman. well, into the woman that he needs you to be. You probably already were a good woman because you were raised by a woman who's a wife, and she's leading by example. The father is leading by example. The little girl, she sees how her dad deals with her mom. She sees how her mom deals with the dad, and now she wants to go into a relationship, with those same ideals. I want my husband to be a lot like how my dad was with my mom. I don't know any other way to be with my husband than the way my mom was with my dad. They've bastardized that term groom and made it seem like it's some weird stuff. A part of the conspiracy is to further break up the family, make the modern woman afraid of dealing with a man. Oh, you want to groom me? This and this. It's a conspiracy. Or is it? Is it just me being a pervert? How I'm a pervert, I'm married for 16 years, and you gotta worry about your kids getting assaulted by a 25-year-old authority figure while you're off at work trying to make ends meet to pay your bills.
Far prior to the abuse starting, but it can also continue throughout the abuse and even following the end of the abuse to maintain the silence.
Hillsman told police during an interview, according to charging documents, that she believed one of the students, quote, was her person. She went on to say that she made a mistake but was not a bad person.
No, you are a bad person if you're messing with a 13 or 14-year-old child. This is what women say about men. It better be true if a woman is doing it. Women who talk about, I don't want to see women when I come here.
August, HISD says that's when they relieved her of duty at the school. The TEA lists Hillsman as being under investigation. While that happens, she does still have her teaching certificate. Her next court date is May 10th. We reached out to her attorney for comment and are waiting to hear back.
Wait a minute. I got to bring that back right fast. Right quick. This is what you're dealing with. This is a grown old woman out here still trying to get attention. I don't know that she's doing that for her husband. I don't know if she's trying to get attention from the young boys there. I don't know if she's trying to get attention from the other teachers there. But as a woman, and I don't even blame her for trying to get attention, she wants to be looked at. But is she a single independent woman?
I don't need a man.
Is she in these TikTok streets? That's why I be showing women on here. That's one of the reasons. But let's continue with the breakup of the family. And who would gain from the family being broken up?
Today I want to talk about the destruction and the separation being placed between men and women today. There are three ways the powers that be are causing this divide. The reason it's beneficial for us to stop fighting each other is financially, a two-family income is way more than being single. Being together actually helps alleviate a lot of different tasks throughout the day. You actually get more time if you just split it and work together. Now, if two different parents in two different households, they have to do each task on their own, like cooking, cleaning, or whatever, as opposed to them working together and one person doing or shifting whatever. So ultimately, you would have more time on your hands. Separation costs money. As far as like divorce, courts, child support, it actually costs us more to be single than to be together. And then to have to provide for two separate houses, it's very difficult. Now, if you can't help it, you just can't help it.
For the longest time, the narrative has been that men just up and leave and abandon these women, and that's why we have a lot of single mothers out here. But we got the data. And when it comes to divorce, women are the ones who file divorce 80% of the time. And if they have any type of degree, associates, bachelors, they file divorce 90% of the time.
I know the women are saying, well, that's because I married a dude who was this and this and that, but you chose him. You weren't raped. Oh, but he tricked me. He made me think he was this and this and that. I understand, but now you're single and on the market. This next guy, he's married. He didn't do nothing to you, but do you care? This teacher, she knew these were her students. Did she care? Nah, she said that was her person. So you, the women in my audience, the good women in my audience, my members, my subscribers, the people who know what's going on, you're the one who has to watch out because these weird women are on the prowl and they got their eye on your man, on all of us men. Who's shaming those women for being predators? Nobody. And definitely not this society. It's encouraging them to be predators. Why? Because us men are weak, especially when it comes to women. We're weak, but that's how the Almighty made us. But nobody's shaming these women, the ones who are predators. Society is encouraging these women. Why? To break up the family. Why would they need to break up the family? Let's continue to decode.
They don't take into consideration the children and how that's going to affect them. They placing their happiness over the well-being of the family structure.
Over 60% of 0 to 500,000 in Atlanta, Georgia is purchased by an institutionalized buyer. So
is that similar to around the whole country, or is it just in Atlanta?
The Sun Belt is where it is really, really, really popular. But anywhere that there is a working class, we're in LA. You're not buying 0 to 500,000 in LA unless it's some hut on the side of the 405.
Right.
But in Atlanta, Georgia, you can buy 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms all day, every day for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. And what they're doing is they're buying so much that, number one, you can't afford to buy it because they're paying cash. So they outdo you on terms. They pay more than the value is worth. And so Bobby and Susie and the average Joe, the everyday buyer, is really getting outbid and out-termed for these houses. And then they're turning around and telling you, oh, you're going to enjoy renting. Well, but wait a minute. Who determines market rent? The landlord. And if they own everything, then they're keeping you as the hamster on the wheel inevitably.
Is it starting to make sense? Are we decoding? Shout out to my people who get it. I love you guys. I wish there was more that I can do for you. All I can do is just keep uploading good content. I'm risking my life out here to entertain you guys. Leave a like for the kid. You could donate to the Cash App. I'm not asking for your money. I'm saying I'm out here for you. I'm in these conspiracy streets.
That if a government wants full omnipotence, it has to break down the family unit because the family unit stands in opposition to government omnipotence. So I would probably say every ill that we're seeing in society right now, that which you might think are unrelated, are actually all related to destroying the family unit. So sometimes you say, why are they on this climate change thing? And then you go, why are they fighting trans bathroom signs? And what's with this LGBTQ stuff? If you examine all of these issues and you realize what they have in common, it's that they are attacking families.
I will never understand why people are so quick to assume that when they see a single mother that she got left. Like, do you not know that we did the dash? We took off and we escaped. We ski our way out of that motherfucking relationship.
I left my kid's dad because we were not in love. We were not intimate. We were hardly even friends. We were just coexisting. And I knew that in the long run, it would be better for my child if he didn't see a fake relationship in his own home.
Your baby daddy is not your last chance at love. He does not hold the key to your best future. The man who fathered your child is just that. The man who fathered your child. Men move on from relationships all the time for reasons that they feel no need to justify.
Nah. Just, I'm gonna let it keep going, but nah.
You have that same freedom. Visit leaveyourbabydaddy.com for your guide to freedom.
If you can easily leave the father of your children, you can only imagine what you'll do to the next man. Fellas, create your own family and do not raise Ray-Ray's kids. Hidden agenda will shock parents.
I'm calling out all the parents. If you're a parent and your child is in pre-K to elementary school to high school, I'm calling you out. The children today, I have never experienced, and I'm 22. Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life. I teach 5-year-olds ballet, 5-year-old girls ballet. I have a class of 10 students. They don't respect any authority. You ask them, can you stand in your designated spot? They're telling you no and shut up. They're throwing things at each other. They're throwing things at other people, other classmates. You say, can everybody sit in their spot? I don't want to. I'm not doing that. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my mom. You confront the parent. The parent tries to argue with you and fuss at you because you tried to reprimand and redirect their kid. I told a young little girl, please sit in your spot. You're not my mom. You don't tell me what to do.
Notice she didn't say you're not my dad. That's very important because the father's not in the home. Why is the father not in the home? Because the woman and the children are more manipulatable. And the man who's over here, he's not as manipulatable anyway. That's why the devil went to Eve instead of Adam. That's why it's better to just get rid of masculinity altogether. Being a male is toxic because there's nothing that they can do with men. So let's just get rid of them. That's what they have long wanted to do so that they can conquer the rest of humanity. Why? Well, because they're being led by, well, I've said too much there. I've said a lot already. Join the members. We could talk about it over there.
Okay. When her mom came to pick her up, I said, hey, Your daughter's having a hard time following instructions, and 7 times today I've had to redirect her to just sit in her spot. Well, clearly she didn't want to sit, and mind you, this is a mom. Clearly she didn't want to fucking sit right there. So, I mean, if she's telling you she don't want to do something, why keep asking her to do it? You know she's not going to do it. What world do we live in? Like, what in you guys' brain as a parent says, my kid not following any directions is a great thing. It's not that serious, and y'all don't have a right to tell her what to do. It's sad. It's sad. It's really, really sad. And another thing that's heart-wrenching, it's horrifying. It is horrifying. Your 5-year-old daughters are asking to listen to Pound Town and Ski Yee. Your daughters, your 5-year-old daughters are asking, can we hear Pound Town? I'm playing them Princess Tiana ballet music. And they are asking me, can we hear Pound? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Get a man, not just a boyfriend, marry him and let him lead you. Because instead of telling us on TikTok, I mean, I love it because I get to make content out of it and react to it. But TikTok don't care about your problems because these women are going through the same problems. That's why I have these women up on the screen dancing. These are the mothers of these 5-year-old girls that she's talking about. There's a conspiracy to break up the family. It's worked, and we're living in it right now.
Let's talk about the Simpsons episode, The Last Temptation of Homer. In this episode, Homer grapples with a mutually reciprocated crush on his new coworker, Mindy, voiced by Michelle Pfeiffer. Mindy is not only beautiful, but she and Homer share a close emotional bond. Her personality is basically just a woman version of Homer.
Double blaze.
When Homer first realizes that he has feelings for Mindy, his initial response is just confusion.
What the hell was that? I probably shouldn't have eaten that packet of powdered gravy I found in the parking lot.
Like, he is genuinely confused how he could possibly be attracted to a woman that's not Marge, and how a woman who isn't Marge could be so perfect. And the entire episode focuses around the theme of him balancing his human urges with his loyalty for his wife.
Wait. Just to interject right fast. This is a part of the decoding, the talking, you people who come from other creepy TikToker channels. In order for you to understand this, let's play this.
Men be wanting you to compete for a spot in their life like they a bad bitch or something.
I'm not gonna lie, normally I would agree with you because I think it's kind of feminine to think that men are the prize. But considering the fact that when we get into a relationship, men usually pay the rent, and considering where you live, women typically outnumber men. Not to mention we gotta exclude all the libiquitous men, and we know they've been on the rise lately. And then we gotta talk about the fact that lots of these men just ain't shit. So if you a good man and you know it, if you a provider type of and you know it, it kind of makes sense for a man to want to be chased, because who the f want to chase some bills? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I am the prize. What you got? And then as a man, I'm also not on the same biological clock as you women, so if you don't want to act right in a timely fashion, I'm gonna move on to the next, because there's a fresh batch of 25-year-olds every single summer waiting to fall in love. I'm picky when I buy shoes. You don't think I'm picky when I'm looking for my forever? Not to mention that when a man gets into a relationship, you know what he has to give up? The other women. You better be incredible. You think I'm finna give up all these other women for you? And you're not great? You crazy as a...
Alright, now I'm gonna decode, but let's get back to it.
This episode acknowledges the painful truth that just because you're married and love your spouse, it doesn't mean you're automatically never ever going to find anyone outside of your marriage attractive. Homer tries everything to resist his temptation.
Well, this is my floor.
But fate seems to be determined to make the two of them hook up. Homer's attempt to reject Mindy backfires and results in the two of them attending an out-of-town conference together, where their bond deepens.
Now, this is not the conspiracy part. This is we say, why are you always talking about women? The best way to make a woman like you is to ignore her. That's not taught in school intentionally. That's not taught in psychology class for those PhD women intentionally. Yet, they know the psychology of men and women because they use the very same psychology on us to sell us their products.
Here's a psychological trick to make customers love your brand. Use the rule of 3. The rule of 3 is a powerful communication tool that makes your brand memorable. The human brain works in patterns. By using the rule of 3, you make it easy to remember your brand. Here's how to use it. Use 3 acts to create stories for your brand. Use 3 words and your slogans and taglines, and use 3 product options on your pricing page. The goal here is to make the majority of them choose the intermediate one. Use the rule of 3 to make customers love your brand.
All right, here's the inside scoop. People don't read, they scan. It's all about the F-shaped pattern your eyes move from one point to another, forming an F shape. That means your content needs to be scannable, not just readable. Whether you're designing packaging, creating ads, or developing a website, the key is to make it easy for people to scan and absorb the information.
Psychology has shown that when you put a barrier in front of an object, this will immediately trick the human mind into valuing it so much that they will do whatever it is within their power to obtain that object. A psychological study was conducted amongst 2 two-year-old boys, entering into a room containing 2 equally attractive toys. The toys were always arranged so that one stood next to a transparent plexiglass barrier and the other stood behind the barrier. For one boy, the plexiglass sheet was only a foot high, forming no real barrier. For the other boy, the plexiglass sheet was over 2 feet high, blocking their access to one toy unless they went around the barrier. When the barrier was too short to restrict the access to the toy behind it, the boy showed no special preference for either of the toys. But when the barrier was high enough to be a true obstacle, the boys every single time went to the obstructed toy, making contact with it 3 times faster than the unobstructed toy. Humans engage in this behavior from the age of 2 all up until the day that they die. Using barrier psychology, people are able to triple their sales almost overnight. This is exactly how these luxury brands that hold no intrinsic value are able to get people to buy so many of their products. So now that you know this gate-kept secret of the rich, what are you going to do with your marketing?
You're not seeing the conspiracy there? Let's just continue then.
One of the turkeys fell behind the bed.
This right here is not a situation of fate. There's a bunch of lonely women who crave attention. And then there's, for every person like me, there's a million other people like me. Just like you guys in the audience. There's a million other people. It's just some of them are overseas. They're in different states, different cities. They're in the penitentiary, perhaps. But there's people like you. You just haven't run into them yet. And this episode is demonstrating that. There's a pretty chick who's a weirdo to every other guy who's on her level of attractiveness. But a guy like Homer, who's not on her level of attractiveness, they're like peas in a pod. Almost like the King of Queens. What's his name? What's his name? Doug and Carrie? They totally don't look like they match. But personality-wise, they match. That's what's going on here. So when this one girl was like,
men be wanting you to compete for a spot in their life like they a bad bitch or something.
No, understand, men, we appreciate being alone. Now, if you want to get into the biblical part, which is more of the conspiracy, Adam was alone for who knows how many eons, years. We don't know. It doesn't really specify. And then he became lonely. God sensed his loneliness. We don't know how long that took. So men have the capacity to be alone and not be lonely.
Men want to be alone, but we don't want to be by ourselves. Does that make sense at all? Meaning, really, we want you somewhere, like in the dwelling, just not here, like just like around the corner, in the vents. You can sit in the vent, I don't care if you want to watch me, but in the on the roof, anywhere, but just not in front of me. Trying to be my friend.
Because again, how long was it before God could sense that Adam was lonely? I mean, God could sense it right away, but I mean, how long was it before Adam even got lonely?
Homer breaks into tears over the realization that the two of them are going to hook up.
I guess you'll want to come in.
What's wrong?
Oh yeah, like you don't know. We're gonna have sex.
You don't have to do anything you don't want to.
Well, maybe I want to. But then I think about Marge and the kids.
Look in your heart. I think you'll see what you want.
Now this goes back to one of my creepy talks I did to say that Homer and Bart are sons of simps. That's why they're the simp sons. Because Granddad, he's a simp, running behind a bunch of girls who didn't even like him. Homer's a simp. I'm not saying Homer is a simp for Marge. I'm not saying that. Bart is absolutely a simp. These guys are spineless. They're not leaders. They can lead the way to do some stupid stuff, but they can't lead their families. Marge is leading the family. That's a part of being a jellyback, like my great-grandfather used to call these types of dudes. But that's something else. Let's keep going. Right there, a lot of women would say, you cheated because you kissed her. And I'm not saying that you're wrong, women. I'm not saying he deserves to be forgiven for doing this. I'm not saying any of that. I'm simply saying the conspiracy to break up the family, it's a multi-pronged pitchfork. There's a lot of heads to this monster. So whatever you do as the man or the woman, it's been programmed within our society for you to feel some kind of way about it, and it's immediate grounds for divorce. How else are they going to break up the family and then get control over your kids, our kids, who are the future? Teach them well and let them lead the way. They know that. They're telling us in movies and music what their agenda is. We're just not paying attention to it. But let's keep going.
In the end, Homer does not go through with it. Instead, he invites Marge to his hotel room to spend the night. Although he doesn't sleep with Mindy, he does kiss her. He does.
See, did I say that? And this nerdy looking chick would feel some kind of way. Oh, you kissed another girl. I'm not saying he should have done that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying whoever this nerdy chick is, don't we know most of the prophets in the Old Testament, they had multiple wives? Why doesn't Homer just say, listen, Mindy, let me call Marge and tell Marge what's happening? Homer should have already been telling Marge instead of, don't even worry about it.
Tell her that he's attracted to her. He does invite her into his room with the pretense of having sex, basically. Although there is speculation that that's not actually what happened, and actually he did sleep with Mindy, but I'll make a second video on that. Something I like about this episode is that Mindy and Homer seemingly actually are perfect for each other, or at least work together. Apparently in early drafts of the script for this episode,
Let me go back right fast. You may not be perfect for this man. I mean, think about it. The guy is perfect for you, women, in this society, and y'all will still leave. That's a part of the conspiracy. You've been fed that since the 1930s. 5 years from now will be 100 years since that whole premise was introduced into American society. We all know our government has 75-year plans. Google has a 300-year plan where they're going to control all of the world's data. I think they said something like that. And if you really came here for the conspiracy, don't draw the line at which conspiracies you don't want to see. I don't want to talk about werewolves every episode. I don't want to talk about UFOs every episode. Because while I'm dodging the zombies and the apocalypse and the drought and the drones and the microchip in my hand, I'm still gonna want a woman by my side. And you're still going to want attention from a man if you're heterosexual. Even if you're LBJTQ PS523 and me, you're going to want a companion. That's just a pre-installed program. There are some humans who don't have that program installed in them, but it's not generally speaking. Humans come with a head, 2 arms. A human might come without one of those, but humans, you know what I'm saying? I know, again with the talking, I'm sorry, I should be more idiotic for you. Jeez. Give me a break. I mean, I've only got an 8th grade education. Gosh.
He was written as more of like a temptress who was actively trying to seduce Homer away from Marge, but they didn't go with that route in the end because they wanted to humanize her and make it so that she...
I think they didn't go with that route in the end because you don't need to. That's a part of the programming. We're going to tell you that every woman is a Jezebel, and that's not true. That's disingenuous to women. There are very good women out there who just happen to get paired up with very bad men. There are very good men out there who just happen to get paired up with very bad women. This episode is about 2 people who you can't even believe are so compatible. It's like almost, this has got to be a TV show. It is a TV show. But we all know in actual life, there are people who are compatible with us. Sometimes those people are the same sex as us. Sometimes those people are a little bit older than us. Sometimes those people are like a little bit younger than us. I mean, gross, whatever you were thinking. But again, this is the programming that they put into the society to make us think these weird... Because people didn't think like this in the 40s and 50s. And that's the problem. That's why the plan was instituted in the 1930s. To have us closer to 1984, George Orwell, and the Antichrist. Somebody asked me in my comments, well, when the Antichrist comes, how you going to know who the real Christ is? That's a good question. I'll answer that on my members, which you can join for $1 a month. Then I got a $5 a month tier, and we can talk about it there. Because YouTube is YouTube.
Wasn't trying to steal Homer. She was just another awkward, nervous human being, overwhelmed and doing her best the same way that Homer was. But it also makes it so that this episode doesn't have any clear-cut villain. Instead, it's just human nature screwing everyone over. It would have been really—
No, Velma, it's not human nature to screw— if it was human nature for humans to screw one another over, there would be no women ever getting saved from sexual assault. Like taking candy from a baby, everybody would just do that. There would be no guy to come up and say, hey man, you can't do that. Don't do that. Don't let me catch you doing that again, man. You're going to have problems.
Easy to go back and make it so that he and Mindy have a fight, or he finds out something about Mindy that he doesn't like, or he learns they're not compatible, or Mindy does something that he can't forgive. But in the end, he doesn't get the benefit of having something to help him get over his feelings. He has to face them head on. The ending is so much more powerful and so much more bittersweet when you realize that potentially there's a world where Mindy and Homer could have been together, and they have to give that up and never—
They should have been together in this world, because in the Bible, the Old Testament, he would have been with her and Mindy. The problem is he would have had to lead Mindy. He would have had to take care of Mindy. You know what I'm saying? He would have, and I'm sorry that these people today, women today, they think like, that's not, you listen, we're getting closer and closer to, in that day, 7 women will take hold of what, as much as you want to tell yourself that's not what it is. Look at society right now. Look at the Bop House. Look at these. Just look at it. Look at all of these women that are saying there's no good men around. Look at you, good women in the audience. How many women do you think are coming at your man on a daily basis? He's just ignoring them. I'm saying you as a woman, you can tell when women are flirting with your guy. Us guys, we may not be able to tell. A woman got to literally pull her breast out and hit us over the head with it a lot of times. For us to even, I'm not talking about Adonis as a young 20-year-old. I'm on the lookout for strange. Adonis is a 50-year-old? I'm not doing that. And women be just throwing their drawers in my lapel. I don't even notice it. And it's not only me, it's your husband too. So we're getting closer and closer and closer to that. There's more and more and more women who are lonely, old, out here shaking it, who are young, who are trying to take it. Like, you're constantly in competition with these women. And what are you doing to combat these women? I'll tell you what you're doing. You're gaslighting your husband. You're making him be in fear of even looking left or right or anything. And I would leave a woman like that. But that's what the conspiracy is. They want the family to be broken up, because then if I leave you for gaslighting me and basically harassing me into doing something that I'm not even trying to do, now the kids are unattended. Now our daughter, her only career is the pole. Now our son, his only career is streets. We hope it's not that, but stats say something else. Let's keep decoding this though.
Know what could have been. So Homer is just trusting in his heart that he's making the right choice by remaining loyal to his wife, which makes that decision so much more important.
Homer should be loyal to his wife, period. He shouldn't leave Marge for this other chick. But I think Marge should be aware, hey, there's other women who want Homer, another woman who wants Homer. Marge, a lot of you women in the audience will be like, well, he can just go have her. You're going to ruin your family and just go through divorce and all of that stuff, and you're going to be an independent woman? Why do all that when you can just add this woman to your household like they did in biblical days? They did it then. But you selfish. Homer was doing what he had to do. He felt bad. I don't want to do this. I don't want to break up the family. I'm not saying he should have kissed her. You know what? We could talk about that in the comments, because I know women are going to feel like this, but I know men. I know us men. I know us. Some of us, we just don't know how to go about doing what I'm saying, but I know us. Your man would take care of this woman and you, and he'd be a happier man, whether you want to believe that or not. Now, there are some men that's like, like Bill Burr. His wife was like entertaining it. She's like, yo, I think we should bring her. And Bill was like, I don't even want to. Nah, I'm good. Shout out to those men too. Those men exist. But let's just keep decoding. This is fairly interesting because this comes from the Planned Parenthood website. It says Gloria Steinem just turned 81 and her words still shake things up. This is from 2015. Let's read this thing. A woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. I know that's right. If you're reading this blog, chances are you know that quote. I have heard that quote, which feminist icon Gloria Steinem popularized as part of the women's lib movement in the 90s. Let me just stop right fast because this is actually on Planned Parenthood's website. And we know what Planned Parenthood is. And there's a lot of, I don't know if it's propaganda that says that most of the Planned Parenthoods or a lot of Planned Parenthoods are in the urban areas. Some people have linked Planned Parenthood to eugenics. I don't know. So I'm not race baiting or race hustling. I want to keep the family together. That's not going to be possible because I don't have the power to change the world. The conspiracy is who would want to eliminate the family is one of the reasons we talk about women on this channel. And we talk about men's issues because I'm a man. It's not my fault. You know, you people watching, some of you are single. Most of my audience are married. 1970. What you might not have heard are Steinem's more recent poignant statements about unity across gender lines, how gender discrimination intersects with other forms of discrimination, and the crucial role trans women and women of color play in the continuing struggle for equality. That's not race hustling. That's not race baiting. It is, but you've been conditioned. That's a part of the conspiracy because what group of people would conspire to make you turn your nose when you hear anything that has to do with race? Why aren't they doing that same thing when it comes to dealing with anything that has to do with gender? Has anyone noticed DEI and all of this those people, that is now mixed with black people, right? They already mixed it. So now when Donald Trump says, I want to get rid of all of the stuff, there's only two genders, male and female, he's also getting rid of anything that kind of talks about the good things that black people did.
I hope these reports are inaccurate, that Jackie Robinson's profile has been removed from DOD websites. Please tell me that this is not true.
Sadly, it is, Joe. A page dedicated to Hall of Famer Jackie Robinson's military history has been removed from the Department of Defense's website. A previously existing article about Robinson's time in the Army during World War II now shows one of those page not found errors. And the new webpage URL includes DEI before the story's headline, indicating it might have been taken down as part of the Trump administration's efforts to eliminate federal DEI programs. And Congressman, this is not the only one. We've been talking in recent days how the page dedicated to the Enola Gay, the flight that dropped the atomic bomb in Japan, was taken down, likely because the word gay appeared in it. Other American heroes, Medgar Evers, page dedicated to him, civil rights hero, taken down. Jackie Robinson is the epitome of American hero and a veteran, and yet erased from the Department of Defense's website.
Have you noticed that? That was the plan. Allegedly, it seems like. But how could that have been the plan if a black president is the one who said Omar is my favorite character on The Wire, a show that nobody really watched? I mean, after the fact, there's all this propaganda about it, but while it was going on, no one watched it. And Omar was the gay gangster. I mean, I'm from the inner city. I know there's really gay gangsters out there, but they didn't really have a lane like that until Omar came out. And what about all of the gay people being black? All of the recent movies, there's gay people there, but it's cooler when there's a gay black guy. It's cooler when there's a sassy black woman. Why is that just a part of pop culture now? That's the conspiracy. How are you gonna have a family together if your wife thinks she's gay? If your husband thinks he's gay? If your kids believe that they're gay? No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being gay. I'm saying, how are the children getting made? Because it takes a male and, you're going to incubate and make the kids like the World's Fair back in the days claimed they did? You're going to, you know what? Let's just keep going though. So in honor of Steinem's 81st birthday, we give you our favorite 5 new quotes from Gloria Steinem. She's still making quotes at 81? Great. But first, a little background. Steinem rose to prominence in the late 1960s as an anti-war and feminist activist. Saw how she intersected feminism with another cause. Nobody wants war. Nobody wanted this feminist stuff. Ugly women want feminism. Women who are enjoying their lives, they're enjoying their husbands going out and feeling like I gotta give my wife more stuff because she's so good to me. She makes me these good meals. She cleans this house that we all live in. Let me go get her another car. I'm not doing enough as a man for my wife. And I know that about men. I know us good men, us real men, quote unquote, we feel that in our hearts. We feel like I'm not making enough money to give to my wife. She's not comfortable enough. My kids are not satisfied enough. What more can I do? I'll work 80 hours next week. That's what I'll do. That's all I can do. That's really the way I think women you want for your man to feel. Men, you want to feel like that. I think we naturally feel like that. Man, I'm not doing enough. So we go and work another 40 hours. We take on extra shifts. When my wife says, oh man, I wish I had this, we just go to solve her problem. And the wife is living just excellently, comfortably. Those women don't want feminism. Well, not Gloria Steinem's version of feminism. And the lonely single girls are like, I wish I had a man.
I seen a girl on here talk about how men don't approach her, and I want to me too that.
I hate when I think a man's good looking and then I look at him and then he doesn't approach me. Like, did you not see me just look right at you? Like,
majority of the time, they always ask me why I'm single. They can't believe I'm single. They think men are out here approaching me left, right, and center. Let me tell you, like I told them, men do not approach me.
That's why let me stop right there right fast. That's why the girl was going after Homer. Homer was not looking for her. We're not that far away from these 7 women taking a hold of one man. The Bible scripture doesn't say this guy is married or single. But women, you already have 7 women trying to take a... And here's another thing, women, just stop the cap. You know that another woman will sleep with your man, steal your man, and where's all of this pro-woman stuff? You know that. You're not shaming her. You're shaming the man for not being strong enough. Am I, as your husband, shaming you for eating another piece of chocolate cake? Chubbs? No, he's not doing that. But I understand, women, you don't even know how to do that. You were never taught that, especially not in this society. It takes a strong individual to do that. Your man has to, he has to be strong. Every case is different. I'm not talking about the guys who go looking for it. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about dudes like me. There's a million guys like me. And the guys who are following this channel, for the most part, me and them think the same. That's why in the comments, they're like, man, if you lived next door, man, I'd be at your house every day. No, I wouldn't let you be over here every day because I got to do stuff. But you would be over here a lot. We would probably be hanging out a lot. You'd be like, yo, what you doing today? I'd be like, I ain't doing nothing. Yo, I'm finna go here. You want to go? I'd be like, let's roll. So yeah, you probably would be over here a lot, probably. But I'm that kind of guy, and your husband is that kind of dude. So cut him some slack. Goodness gracious. These girls always end up trying to sleep with your man. Not because he's a jerk, because he's going to work. And she co-founded Miss Magazine in the 70s. Ever since, Steinem has been calling for equality, including the idea that reproductive freedom is as big. Miss Magazine, like these guys said, was started by Gloria Steinem, who's a CIA agent. And they was hyping up this book, Black Macho, that's about the black woman not needing her man. And I've told you guys before, it's cooler when black people do it. I'm sorry, man. That's just what it is. And the people in control, they understand the psychology of people like that. So they've weaponized hip hop. They've weaponized the black woman. It used to just be our women saying, I don't need no man. Now all women of all races and all countries are saying, I don't need a man. It's a conspiracy. So when you women come here, when you guys come here and acting like, oh, I'm going to save my woman, and I'm going to say, oh, I don't want to see all these women. The only dudes I respect that say that are the Muslim guys who come here and say, hey, brother, I can't be looking at that. I respect them. Why? Because they're trying to lower their gaze. Because that's what their creator said to do. Yeah, I know she juicy and she this, but don't look at her because that's what I would like. And those dudes are trying to get the favor of their Lord because they believe God controls everything. If us Christians believe that. I don't know. I know we believe I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, but I don't know if we believe that God can do everything. Like in the back of your mind, you kind of, you believe that's got to be true. But then at the same time, you don't believe that God can just make a woman have a kid without being involved. Like he's got to, now that's my kid now. Just a side note, Christians have said to me when I was in Sunday school, God did this and it, but Malachi 3:6 says God doesn't change. And that's in the Old Testament. But then somebody else would say to me, oh, Paul fixed the Old Testament. But what type of person are you to think you can fix what God made? Does God need fixing? Okay, let's just keep going forward. Basic a right as free speech. Basically, I have the right to sleep with who I want to. You do.
I can't sleep. I can't eat.
drink anything.
Wait a minute. This is okay. Let me just go back right quick. All right. I'm gonna go right to this. This woman is good. These women are gorgeous. These are beautiful women, man. And they're all single. They're all complaining about men. What do they have in common with you? You have a man, and they want a man. Don't be mad at me for showing this part of the conspiracy. I think you just weren't thinking of this part of the conspiracy, and that's what they want. Look at the orbs. Look at the aliens in the ocean. Look at the cloud spheres, whatever the heck. What did they, you know, the stripes with the airplanes that make the grids and the... Look at that harp. Ooh, it's another tornado. Ooh. Oh, digital money. Oh, the billionaires are buying up all the real estate. Uh-oh. Aliens. All while they're breaking up your family. And that's how... You know what? Let me not even say that. Because who needs unity?
I want her to talk about how men don't approach her, and I want to me too that.
I hate when I think a man's good looking and then I look at him and then he doesn't approach me. Like, did you not see me just look right at you? Like,
majority of the time, they always ask me why I'm single. They can't believe I'm single. They think men are out here approaching me left, right, and center. Let me tell you, like I told them, men do not approach me.
That's why these girls always end up trying to sleep with your man. Not because he's a jerk, because he's going to work. Anyway, and she co-founded Miss Magazine in the 70s. Ever since, Steinem has been calling for equality, including the idea that reproductive freedom is as basic a right as free speech. Basically, I have the right to sleep with who I want to. You do.
I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't drink anything without...
Guys, it's Gypsy. I just wanted to interject as I'm editing this part of the video. Seeing this girl so distraught like this gave me a flashback to a time when, as a teenager, my mother had advised myself and my sister, as we age and decide what careers we wanted to get into and what path we wanted to take in life, get married first and then go pursue whatever else you want to do in your life. Because if you don't have a man, if you don't have a partner, if you don't have a spouse, by the time you enter your early 20s, you will not even be able to concentrate on whatever else you want to pursue in life, because you're going to realize at some point you want to have kids, you need a companion, you need fulfillment. Money doesn't fulfill us women like men. So if you don't go ahead and use your youth while you have it to snag you a guy who's going to be there for you, not take care of you financially because you so smart and independent and you about to go off and go do your own thing, right? You don't need him for that. You need him to be your companion. You need him to give you attention. You're going to feel horrible if you don't have the attention that you want from the person who you partner up with. So do that, get it out of the way, and then you'll be calm, you'll be relaxed, you'll be able to concentrate on pursuing these other big things in life. Seeing this girl at 37 crying like this really reminds me of when my mom said that to us. My mom is from the old school. She's South Korean. They don't even play that being single until you're 40 nonsense over there. So I didn't understand how relevant what she was saying was at that time, but now I'm almost 40 now, and I'm looking at the women in my own age group, my friends, and they're all like this lady on the screen, devastated because they don't have life partners. Meanwhile, somehow most of them end up with kids. Who wants you after you have 3 or 4 kids by 2 or 3 different baby daddies? It's real out here, man. I just wanted to add that into the video. Let's keep going.
Steinem is a legend who, over the decades, remained true to her vision of making the world a better place for women. Her voice is at once optimistic and subversive. Still at 81. The crazy thing is this woman is married. She's sharing the message that men and women should not be divided into 2 polarizing boxes. And now she's making the message of unity even more inclusive. Number 1, black women invented feminism. Can you believe that? Let's not put you in boxes, but we'll put you in a box of race. So this says, I thought black women invented the feminist movement. I've learned feminism disproportionately from black women, ... I realized that things being what they are, the white middle class part of the movement got reported more. But if you look at the numbers and the very first poll of women thinking about responding on women's issues, African American women were twice as likely to support feminism and feminist issues as white women.
I don't need a man.
Thank you to my channel members. We said thank you. Ha! To my channel members. No diddy when I say member. Thank you to my channel members. Fuck you if you're not a member. Nah, I'm just kidding, but seriously, join. Thank you.